about what are the limitation and the possibility when we talk about digital longevity with respect to the brain uploading. So I'm from India Future Society, like Sarah mentioned, and currently I work at University of Technology, Sydney in Australia, and doing the brain research most of the time. I would say neurotech research, because it's interdisciplinary research around brain-computer interface as well as brain uploading. So like everyone knows, so brain is the most important organ we have, which define ourselves, right? It's made of neurons, which firing all the time. Whenever we want to take any action, we have our emotions. Even when we breathing, this all is happening because of brain firing of neurons. So when this firing of neuron happen, this is a kind of a sign of that certain information start processing in the brain. This is a good example. What I'm showing you here is actually a digital brain from University of California, San Diego, which is one of the colleagues I work with during my PhD research. So what I'm trying to say that whatever we do, think, emotion, we write, listen, is all happening because that's what's happening in the brain. So basically whatever we are, whatever makes us is your brain, right? So if we kind of cover the brain to upload it somewhere, it technically also means we are there, and we kind of transfer our consciousness there. We are transfer our all thoughts, our memories, our all emotions there. And we kind of able to preserve ourselves in certain way. And that's what I call a digital longevity or digital immortality, I should say. In general, people know it more like a mind uploading. That's what the topic of talk as well today. So think about that, a future that you'd never die, right? I'm talking about quite far future, maybe 50 to 100 years from now. And instead, our mind can be uploaded to a digital world. It can be uploaded to this computer I'm talking, and rather than I'm talking, my digital version is giving this talk, or similar for everyone else out there. That digital version of you can be translated and transferred to any avatar, which could be a robotic avatar or digital avatar only, as well as you can interact with the biological world like us. So when you talk about that kind of transfer of your brain, we call it mind uploading. And again, when it's a digital version, basically you can create a multiple copies. Unless someone completely delete you, you are alive forever. You are immortal forever, digitally immortal. But of course, people will say there's a lots of ethical concern and lots of social concern. I'm not going to talk about this in today's talk, but of course, there are lots of things to talk about as well. And to give a sense what mind uploading is, some of you are already aware, but some of not. I think this series, Altered Carbon from Netflix, is quite popular in recent last year and last of last year, where the same person reborn like multiple times because his brain is uploaded in the cloud, in the servers, and every time it can be downloaded to the avatar for him to alive again and interact in the biological world. You can, and in this particular series, they're showing a more of cloning technology, which already exists, but not like what this program is showing. But that's a kind of future. It coming in next 50 to 100 years. We're gonna see that kind of future. Mind uploading is a good thing, right? But why this thing doesn't exist? It's not like we cannot do that. But the technology we have currently is very limited. It's limited in the sense of, I divided in 3 parts. It's limited in the sense that we don't have enough powerful scanning technology which can scan our brain. That's one of the very important things when we talk about mind uploading thing. We don't have proper algorithm at this moment which can make ourselves as a self once we scan, and we do not have enough information to store. If we talk more precisely, so if we talk about scanning technology, we need to scan 86 billions of neurons from a single brain, precisely at micro or nanomillimeter. Each neuron also has synapses, and there are more than 7,000 synapses for a single neuron. Usually people call it connectome. And again, so you need to scan 86 billion neuron multiplied by 7,000 connection, which is at this moment impossible. Maybe there's one possibility. You can scan them via electron microscope, but if you want to do that, you need to slice the brain, and the person cannot be scanned when he's alive. So kind of impossible. Second, once you scan it, you need to create and arrange the whole information you scanned in a digital version of yourself. That's again, not quite easy, and we also don't know how to do that because we never scan the brain. So that's another big limitation, and the limitation where the assumption is also not sure. And the last is a storing this whole thing in one place. That is actually technologically much closer than the first two. Scanning and recreating scanned brain into digital version of yourself is far, far away, but actually we have enough storage medium given the current technology to do that. Now what I'm trying to talk next is that these are technology limitations, but there are still plenty of work, and especially the hope from Ray Kurzweil, who claims that we were able to upload our brain with that technological development by next 25 years, that is 2045. And that's basically can make us digitally immortal. And given this hope, I think my personal view is that that's what is really happening. And that's what I'm gonna show you in some evidence in the following slide, how it's possible and what are the possibilities. Before that, there are some research I also want to highlight, which not well known as any other research, or the hype of research related to mind uploading. The first three projects which I want to highlight is OpenWORM. This is the project started in 2011, and it tried to simulate the whole roundworm elegans. It's a very small, very few cellular level worm, which this organization tried to simulate completely in the brain. It's not a mind upload, but simulation completely as it is, elegance work, is also a very complicated task. And this particular roundworm contains 302 neurons, and is very well studied in the literature, very well studied by the researcher around the world. And that's why it's possible for this organization to completely create this simulation. So you can go online, it's openly available for everyone to access it. People try to use this 302 neuron simulated version and put in the vehicle and let the worm move around. That's already pretty amazing. And that's a kind of give you a small window that what a mind uploading might look like. Second project is a Blue Brain project, which is running in Switzerland, started in 2005, with the aims to build detailed digital reconstruction of a mouse brain. Again, so first one is OpenWORM, which is very tiny. Well, 302 neurons, fine, but mouse brain already become very complicated. Not as complicated as human, but still too complicated to even recreate as a digital reconstruction. But interestingly, they are doing it from long time, and they were kind of successful at certain level. And that's another interesting project, which is kind of relate with what I'm talking about as a mind uploading. Third one, target human brain. And that's a European project and largely funded by European Union, started in 2013. And they are trying to do the same for human brain. The objective is not just human brain simulation, but they have lots of other objectives, but this is the one of them. So that they can simulate the whole brain, and then you can kind of do lots of research without investing in the participant and understand the brain itself. And that's also give you a kind of blueprint how to upload the brain. That's my understanding. So these are three research happening already around the world. And they are actually, I would say, significantly progress what they aims to do. But my strategy is a bit different, and my idea is also a little bit different in the direction of mind uploading. So I would like to say, we have simulation. We have blueprint of simulation, how to do a brain uploading. But there's any other technology out there which you can be used for mind uploading? I call it brain computer interface. There is. So BCI, which I'm working in, my expertise of research is BCI. This is the one of the actual realization of mind uploading. Very low level, but actually this is the actual realization of mind uploading. A BCI is let you allow to interface with computer. And that's actually one of the fundamental aspects you need when you talk about mind uploading for digital immortality, digital longevity. You need to make an interface between the digital device and the human brain. Simulation is a one way, but we don't need simulation. We need a transfer of human brain to a machine brain. So that's the one thing. Theoretically, BCI is something which can transfer a brain state into digital medium. And that's what is the whole purpose of mind uploading. Of course, BCI is not that powerful what we need for mind uploading, but given the progress, we might see it more enhanced. But currently, as a BCI researcher, what I'm involved is more of bionic control, enhanced telepresence, enhanced space exploration, that kind of thing. If I define it more accurately or more BCI form-wise, originally envisioned, so I can say our central nervous system, it look like this. We give command from our brain, which is a cortex here, and it goes through several different parts of the body and senses and muscles to perform an action. But when you talk about BCI, it just skip all the CNS and directly make an action. And that's what we needed also for brain-computer interface. Currently, it more of roughly look like, according to this picture, where you read from brain signal, do lots of algorithm signal processing thing and get the command out of that to replace, restore, enhance, supplement, and improve your surrounding. That's what BCI is doing at this moment. But again, you are giving yourself, a small part of yourself to the computer as an interface to control things. And if you see, it's like a globally for whole brain, that's what the mind uploading is all about. I'm gonna skip this slide, it's not important. These are some of the work I did so far. I also want to quickly go through some of them, more demonstration, what BCI is able to do. So I was doing some virtual reality with BCI, also connecting robot control and the BCI, gaming with the BCI, navigation with the BCI. And these are some of the work I was involved last 4 to 5 years, actually 6 years, I should say, where I'm developing computer interfaces. With most of the time is a EEG sensor, which is a non-invasive sensor I use. So nothing need to be implanted. Anyone can be used, anyone can wear this kind of cap and start controlling things around him or her as a BCI interfaces, which is again, a small part of mind uploading, a way to go for mind uploading. So one of the example I'm going to show you is a BCI-based gameplay, playing a game where using the brain to control the game and do lots of things. So you see the computer is actually kind of simulating a little part of your brain to let you play the game. Even though it's a control from your brain to the machine, but actually that same part is simulated in the machine as a data, and then the command has been issued to let you play this game. So again, I see it as one of the important aspects as a mind uploading. So you see the player and the monster on the right side, and there's a cursor is moving. So this movement actually is by user itself rather than and then user is also using his brain signal to kind of doing some very simple thing like attention in this case, to getting some extra power for the game. This all is a published work, so always can be read more in detail if someone interested in. Second is in similar sense, using controlling the robotic arm from the brain signal, where your brain and computer is interfacing so that the robotic arm can be used and replaced for you, which is like yourself, a digital version of yourself is sending a command, little bit in the direction of mind uploading again. So you see here, this user is not moving and is a kind of behaving more like someone who cannot move or paralyzed. And this robotic arm, which is programmed to do that, performing an action of choice, what user selected on the screen in front of him. We call it a eating assistant system. And you see he's wearing an EEG headset, which is a non-invasive brain signal acquisition device. A very simple device, which is a wireless, no bunch of wires is there. And actually he's sitting not in the laboratory setting, but it's a very common area where people are moving around. So that kind of thing is happening with the BCI. Again, this is the way to go, I think, as a mind uploading. I'm not explaining what exact feature is happening here, but happy to talk about it if someone is interested more what is really happening as a BCI here. But I'm just trying to show you that how brain and computer are interfacing each other with a small piece of information taken from your brain cortex using our sensor, which is EEG in this case. So let's move to the another one. This is another good example of BCI where yourself is projected in virtual reality environment, which is very well controlled environment, like Avatar I just mentioned in the beginning with the Netflix series. Here the BCI is working to let you control these cubes you are touching. If you see a figure on the left corner, on the top corner, that's how user is performing the action, and that's what he's able to see in the VR, virtual reality environment. He's wearing, you see, he's wearing a VR headset here, virtual reality. He's wearing a EEG here. It's a wired, so lots of wires are moving around, but then he's able to control this cube and make an action and interaction with it. Again, this is all published work, so always happy to go through and read it about it. This is the last one, which is also interesting, I want to highlight. This is the example of BCI where the machine and the human working very closely together. This robot you are seeing here is called a blasting robot. It flow a very powerful, with very forceful air from the nozzle here. I'm moving my cursor. And so that produces a kind of force back on the user. So this robot is a semi-autonomous and it tries to handle that kind of force and make you feel like a robot is so light to move around. But what this BCI is doing is just kind of connecting human brain and the robot. So robot is trying to understand human and human trying to understand a robot as a digital being and make them work very synchronously without much effort. More like a singularity, what we call about where the human and machine merge together, sort of, but not exactly like that, but in the same direction. Again, this is another nice example when machine and digital being working very well. This is also work which has been out there to read more about. So what I see here as a BCI technology, compared to mind upload, which is my originally point I'm trying to make here. The brain-computer interface technology is one of the very important technology, which is a way to go for mind uploading. And good thing is that recently from last 2 to 3 years, not just researcher like me, who's actively involved in developing BCI technology, but some big commercial companies and also funding organizations step in to the market as a commercial and as well as funding organization to work about that. One of them is a Facebook. They have announced in 2017 that they were going to develop a BCI technology in their lab, which is still going on. There's no news after this announcement, but they will let you communicate using brain signal about with the Facebook. I'm not sure Facebook or what, but they want you to communicate using your brain. Maybe they want to use it for Oculus. Maybe they want to make you feeling more avatar, more interacting when you are using Oculus, which is a virtual reality headset from the Facebook. Second, which is I think everyone very well know and aware, which happened in 2018 first, and then recently about few weeks ago happened from Neuralink by Elon Musk. He developed a very nice implanted device. Actually, still in development mode. They call it N1 sensor. If you see this figure on the right bottom corner, which is like a small coin. They developed this device. This device is not very different from what is already exists, like a UTHA array implanted device already used for the patients. Only advantage with this device, a major advantage with this device is high density. So your BCI, your brain computer interface, has more density to communicate with the computing device. That also means you can also have more ability to transfer your thoughts back and forth with the computer. And most important thing, they also announced this machine you see on the right here, my cursor is moving, which can surgically implant this device straight away without any external involvement. That's what I understand. But of course, this is early stage. But when people like Facebook and Neuralink get involved commercially with a BCI, I think the progress can go much, much faster than what is already from last decade. And the last but not the least, DARPA, which is Defense Advanced Research Organization, agency for most of the defense work, but also lots of work for public. They were announced a next generation non-surgical neurotech, they call it N3, in 2018. And lots of US organization and the university already involved to develop non-invasive and minute invasive devices for the BCI. Or you can call it neurotechnology, so that you can have interface with computing device. Again, this gives you another opportunity that you can have lots of information flow in and between brain to computing device, computing to brain device, which is a way to go with the mind uploading again. So when these three organizations get involved, I mean, that's a kind of golden time for BCI, I feel. That's what's happening. Then I look at more evidence. This is really happening around that. I look at the longevity technology, which is an independent non-profit organization, looking at all longevity technology out there and looking for if they are technology readiness level, what they are 1 to 10 technology readiness level, which represent how close they are to really perceive what they really plan to do or they hypothesize to do. So these all are longevity technologies, either biocybernetics, organ growth, stem cell, telomere, what BioAI is talking about, diagnostic intervention, digital health, and the last, neural integration, which is another name for BCI, or singularity. You see, they are already at level 4. That means a concept, a proof of concept is already developed and proved and provided with the given existing technology. And it can go much, much beyond that. And that's what's happening. And once these companies step in, like a Neuralink or Facebook or DARPA, I think this is gonna be progress with accelerated rate exponentially in the next few years. So if I predict what is going to be, I will say in that way. Next evidence I found with Gartner Emerging Technology Hype Cycle. This is very popular among researchers. And they are, at least from last 3 years, I am keep watching them, what kind of hype cycle they're providing for emerging technology. So this is for 2020. And if you see, they talk about brain-machine interface, which is brain-computer interface, another alternate term for that, which is close to achieve in 5 to 10 years. And when I say 5 to 10 years, that means basically a commercial unit. Maybe you are using in your home in 5 to 10 years, that kind of technology. Last year also exists here, last year also exists here. but slightly changing in terms of position. So these evidence give a nice clue that BCI is getting bigger and bigger, playing bigger role. And when it playing bigger role, I also hope and assuming that in coming time, the mind uploading, dream of mind uploading getting more closer and closer. So I say that in next 7 to 10 years, the BCI, which is a small segment of mind uploading, will be round the clock all the time with us. We are using BCI technology all the time with different phenomena. There's a health evaluation, driving, emotion, instruction, alarm, environment control, game interaction, whatever. This is very just an example of what I'm trying to say around the clock, but it will be for everything. We will getting more closer to interface completely ourselves in the digital with the computing device or digital device. And that's what I'm saying as a mind uploading we want to achieve as well. So my prediction is that following the Ray Kurzweil, that in next 20 to 25 years, you will gonna see that mind uploading is not a dream anymore, and we were able to completely able to upload our brain. And that's what, as a longevity activist, as a transhumanism, I personally hope to see and hope to work as well as a researcher, as a scientist. So that's all. Thank you for your attention.